What up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? What up, YouTube? Yeah, this is Chef, New Zealand Murder History Podcast. How's everyone doing out there? Well, good. I'm okay, I'm not too bad, eh? I got this pretty bad cough, but I tested negative for COVID-19, so, you gotta count your blessings, not your bruises. Yeah. But anyway, I got a pretty cool show for you guys today. When I say pretty cool, I mean it's pretty interesting, really. Now over here, this is an old railway station. Edify railway station. Well, that's what it says on that sign there anyway. Edify is actually out towards this way. Maybe this is the train that goes to Edify. The train doesn't go to Edify anymore. It's I think only freight trains might come through here once a day or something. I don't know. It's pretty cool though. It's this old historic railway station. Anyway, it was the closest thing I could find to the Reefton Railway station, which is where this murder I'm about to talk about takes place. So it'll have to do because, well, as much as I like doing these on location ones, frankly, the price of petrol is sky high, and I'm just not about to drive to Reefton to do this podcast, so this will do for now. Set this camera up anyway. Hopefully it doesn't heat up in the afternoon sun and turn off on me, but yeah, I'll give it a crack. Give it a go. Alright, let's kick it. Reefton Railway Station murder, 27th of August, 1953. Sources used include, but not limited to, www.westcoastrecollect.recollect.co.nz. Reefton Railway Station, 1950s, where Dorothy Haldine was murdered. Darky was his nickname. Also, www.truecrimelibrary.com. Article, Harold Whiteland, possibly Whitland. This one, I'm going to call him Whiteland, but it could be Whitland. Anyway, this one says Trevor Harold Taylor Whiteland was born in Pakistan. But anyway, also www.werelate.org. Dorothy Rose Haldine. Page updated 6th of June 2011. I'm just going to read that second one again because the way I said it was a bit ambiguous. So it's actually www.truecrimelibrary.com, articled Harold Whiteland. So that's all it's called. If you want to look that up, that's what it's called. Alright, anyway. You're watching New Zealand Murder History Podcast. My show isn't suitable for children. Kids, click off. Anyone suffering from some kind of mental problem, also click off. And if you need support, contact your doctor or talk to a friend. But be picky what friend you talk to. Or perhaps call one of the many 0800 numbers available. My show is just for educational purposes and not to cause offence to anyone discussed. Yeah, this show will discuss gun violence, murder, racism, stuff like that. So, you might find it triggering. You might not want to watch this show, in which case that's fine. Just, click off. Alrighty. There's not a lot of information for this one online, but anyway. Trevor Taylor Harold Whiteland was a half Spanish Muslim bloke from India, but the locals called him Darky. I'm going to call him Trevor Taylor Harold Whiteland because this New Zealand, hey, let's talk dumb racist horse shit, well, it's just got to stop. Anyway, Trevor Taylor Harold Whiteland lived on the west coast in a gold and coal mining town called Waiuta in the late 40s and the early 1950s. And he didn't make a lot of friends, hence his nasty nickname. It was the post-World War II era, and the economy wasn't great. But there was an air of optimism about too, and, people were happy. For New Zealanders, they were happy. Put it that way. Trevor Harold Taylor Whiteland was happy too in his own way. Well, perhaps not, it's hard to know. He lived a loner's life in his hut and practiced swimming in the Waiuta pool, which is actually still there, by the way, so I'm told. He was a champion swimmer, and he could swim 2 whole lengths of the pool underwater holding his breath, so without coming up for air. That's pretty hardcore. But this bloke, Trevor Harold Taylor Whiteland, he may have been a bit low IQ. Yeah, the locals, they used to... Well, they would say that he was a few sandwiches short of a picnic, was what they would say about Trevor. So, yeah, interpret that how you will. But anyway, he carried a very sharp knife on his belt, and the locals told their kids not to go around the miner's hut where he lived. Is this because he was actually dodgy? I mean, who knows? It was all so long ago, but when the gold mining drew to a close, Trevor Harold Taylor Whiteland, he left Waiuta for the bright lights of Reefton. Now, that was actually a joke, but with some truth to it. You see, Reefton's a small town, not small by West Coast standards. Reefton has a police station, like 2 gas stations, a supermarket, not full size, but still. The West Coast only has 4 towns of supermarkets, and Reefton's one of them. But in 1888, so a long time before this hoo-ha goes down at the station, Reefton in 1888 became the first town in the Southern Hemisphere to be lit up by electric streetlights. Cool, eh? Anyway, the 2018 census says Reefton has just under 1,000 people. So what I'm getting at is it's a small town. Anyway, Trevor Harold Taylor Whiteland worked as a janitor of the train station in Reefton, and lived in a small cabin, not dissimilar to his miner's hut that he used to live in Waiuta. And in his own way, he was happy. If it wasn't for the pesky young station clerk Dorothy Haldine. Some say he hated being bossed around by a girl a lot younger than him. Others say he was in love with Dorothy Haldine, and even said to her one day that her fiancé should be put to sleep for his own good. The day of 22nd of August, some sources state 27th, but either the 22nd or the 27th of August 1953 started off like any other. But when Trevor Harold Taylor Whiteland learned the railways were going to up the rent on his one-room cabin, well, he wasn't stoked. Then he goes to work and he ends up in a row with young Dorothy over the state of the coal soot-stained windows. When she told him to use newspaper to clean the glass, he lost it. And he went back to his cabin with the green door to get his rifle. Stop the show. I find this really funny, as I also like using the newspaper to clean windows. They come up great. Just don't touch the windowsill because the ink will rub off. Is this what Trevor Taylor Harold Whiteland was thinking? The windows will come up good, but the windows still get smudge marks? Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. 1953 was so long ago, it's hard to know. Anyway, he returned with the station master in tow, who was later bollocksed for not being too worried about the black janitor carrying a rifle over his shoulder. Perhaps, he thought, Trevor Harold Taylor Whiteland was only going to shoot some pigeons nesting in the train station roof. Totally not what happened. Trevor Taylor Harold Whiteland stormed into the ticket office of Reefton Railway Station and shouted, "Allah be praised!" Boom! Before gunning down Dorothy Haldine in front of his colleagues. Yeah, there was only a couple of blokes in the station at the time, but yeah, they were so stunned they didn't even rush the demented janitor for the rifle. He just dropped the rifle and ran outside and tried to jump in front of a moving train. As the train wasn't moving very fast, his murder-suicide plan remained unfinished. Because you see, the driver of the train, well, they just hit the brakes. And now this bloke's lying down on the tracks. Trevor Taylor Harold Whiteland demanded the driver run him over. But this was against company policy. I'm not sure how he was arrested. You guys will just have to use your imagination. But yeah, he was arrested. And in December of 1953, he was tried in the Greymouth court. They gave him the death sentence for killing the young booking clerk, Dorothy Haldine. And the wheels of justice, well, they turned quicker than the wheels of the train that Trevor Taylor Harold Whiteland jumped in front of. And he was sent straight to Auckland Prison, which actually could be Auckland Prison and Paramarimu Road, or it could be Mount Eden. I actually think they sent him to Mount Eden because I know that they used to hang blokes up there. Yeah, most likely he was sent to Mount Eden anyway. That's an old historic prison in Auckland. It's still open now. So's Paramarimu. Anyway, there was a bloodthirsty crowd gathered to watch. It was the 21st of December 1953. But Trevor Taylor Harold Whiteland, well, he wasn't worried. He turned to the crowd of ghouls with a big smile across his face. "Have a Merry Christmas, everybody!" The trap door was tripped, bloke got hung, and that was that. End of story. He actually said that. He wished everyone Merry Christmas at his own public execution. I mean, I gotta say, like, it's horrific. The dude shot a young girl for no good reason at all. He did have a good sense of humour, though. You can't say that he didn't, but, yeah. Anyway, that's what happened. I got one more bizarre fact for you, though. Back in the day at Mount Eden, if that's in fact where Trevor Taylor Harold Whiteland was hung, they used to bury convicts standing up in unmarked graves. It was like symbolic, no rest for the wicked, you know? How weird is that? Okay, that's it. Story time's over, boys and girls. Now get off YouTube and go do your homework. Or go outside and kick a ball. Ask a girl out on a date. Do something. Alrighty. Let's go for a walk. Seeing as it's such a nice day, you got to take advantage of these, you know, summer days and all that. End of summer days. But yeah, sunny days ain't bad. Yeah, the Reefton Railway Station. Is it much different to this old historic railway station? Sorry, this is Grove Station, not Edify Station. It must mean the train to Edify. Yeah, Grove Station. Alrighty. Yes, imagine a bloke coming up to a window. He's trying to clean it with a bit of newspaper. Oh no, he wasn't cleaning it with newspaper. He got told to clean it with newspaper. Anyway, you get the picture. Would have been a train booking building. Probably a bit bigger than this one, I imagine. This one's pretty small. Yeah. Blew her away. Over what? Nothing at all. Ridiculous. What an awful man. And that's the story of Trevor Taylor Harold Whiteland and what happened to him when he emigrated to New Zealand to be a gold miner, a coal miner and a janitor. And that's the story of Dorothy Haldine. She was born in Reefton, only child. Must have been devastating for her parents, devastating for her fiance, of course. You know, he's in love with this girl, and then she gets shot dead over nothing at all in the middle of the day, in the middle of a railway station in Reefton in the 50s. You couldn't write a movie about it. I mean, you could, but what I'm getting at is it's so weird. It may as well be a movie, but no, it's real life. Alright, YouTube. Have a good one, everybody. Take it easy. And don't work too hard.